I think we've all heard of the phrase you are what you eat when it comes to food and creating a healthy body, but what we commonly don't think about is what are we feeding our brains? Everything that you feed your brain turns into your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and your actions, which ultimately creates your reality. If you are surrounded by people that complain all the time, then your thoughts are going to be filled with complaints. If you constantly watch TV that talks about how difficult it is to earn money and make a living, then you will internalize the same and believe that it's difficult for you too. So it's super important to think about what am I paying attention to? What are my goals in life? And is what I'm paying attention to building towards that? And this concept I would say is called a mental diet, which is paying attention to what am I actually feeding my brain. And for me, it's been a huge game changer. Like I started doing this a year ago, way less anxious thoughts, been able to achieve my goals much faster, no overwhelming thoughts, much better relationship with people around me. And I'm positive it can be a game changer for you. So I want to teach you more about what this mental diet is, how to apply it to your life and goals so that you too can become the person you want to be and start creating a reality of your choosing, not just one that you fall into. So first you have to think of your brain that it's literally a supercomputer. I saw this fact that literally your brain has the computing power of planet Earth in 2007. It handles so much information. Think at the same time as you're thinking about your memories, you have information in your head that you may have learned growing up. At the same time, you're sensing things in your body, your feelings, what's going around you in your environment. All of that's being processed and analyzed at the same time. Everything that you see, everything that you hear, everything that you feel, it all matters. Your thoughts, your conversations, things you watch on TV, people you talk to, everything matters. And everything that you feed your brain builds a database on all of the information that it gets. So this database is used to create your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your beliefs about the world, and it transforms it into your reality. So you actually have the conscious choice to choose what you're feeding this database. And then everything from your reality and your thoughts are then built upon this database. So imagine if what you'd be feeding the database and what you can get out of it. So you can do that by modifying your brain's database through a more thoughtful mental diet. So I kind of broke it down into 3 categories. First, I'd say there's you, then there's the people around you, and then lastly, there's the media that you engage in. So just starting with you, everything that you tell yourself, everything that you believe, and how you treat yourself all matters. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm a failure, I'm never going to be happy, or things are very challenging for me, life isn't fair, then your brain is just going to find evidence to support that. It's through something called the RAS system, or reticular activating system, which is basically a system that tunes into what you're looking for. And it will find evidence to support that. So if you pick something negative, it will find negative things to support that. The same way, if you pick something positive to look for, your brain will find positive things. So why not start changing your thoughts towards more positive thoughts? Positive self-talk. You can be your own supporter. If you tell yourself that success comes easily, you're going to start seeing opportunities for success. If you tell yourself that you find happiness in every moment, you will start finding gratitude for the small things in life, and those continue to expand because you're paying attention to it. And if you tell yourself that you can overcome challenges, again, you will start doing that. It's difficult at first to start doing this and start going from a negative way of life to a positive way of life. I've been there before, and I do find myself on the old path sometimes, but you have to keep moving forward. And I think one first easy step is to create a list, whether it be a mental list or a list on your phone of all the successes that you've had, big or small, all the challenges you've overcome, even as little as learning how to tie your shoes. Because it's a reminder that you are capable of success and you've overcome challenges before and you can continue doing it. And you're basically feeding your brain a success mechanism that will keep finding ways for you to succeed. And it starts creating a more automatic habit of reprogramming your brain towards success and just towards overall happiness and more positive thoughts. And I'll talk more about this kind of mindset of thinking that things are happening for you instead of to you in another video. But for now, just remember that Your thoughts and your emotions completely shape your reality, and you can consciously choose what reality you want to live in based on your thoughts. Okay, so then the second part then is the people around you. So if you surround yourself with people that you admire and people that you want to become like, you will become like them. Or are you surrounding yourself with people who are complaining, people who are pessimistic, or people who put you down? Then that's what you will continually get. It all matters who you surround yourself with, because you get the negative and positive thoughts about yourself and the world from others too. And through these conversations, if you have like a conversation with someone how things like never go right and how things aren't turning out, you absorb this and your brain starts believing it, and your brain will continue to find evidence of that. And I actually had this in my own life. I was studying for a board exam, and I was actually doing really well for once, and I shared my overall progress with my friend, and they told me, oh, you can't possibly score that high. People like you don't score like that. And at first I internalized that, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I thinking? How can I even be doing this well? Like, I'm not going to reach it. But then after some thought, I was like, wait, why am I taking this other person's thought or opinion of me as like fact? And I almost like didn't continue acting on my goal because of what this person said. But you don't have to choose to let others' words get to you. And I chose not to do that too. I didn't let them get to me. I did end up doing really well in this exam, and I needed to maintain belief in myself. But you too can do the same. You can determine who is around you, whether you have people that support you, and it's less things to filter through your brain. You want people that are gonna help you get to your goals, help you be who you want to be, and it's really important to think about that. And a third kind of overall category I'd say is the media that you engage in. I think this one's a little easier to control. Taking control of your thoughts takes a while and builds a habit, and will with some time. The people around you, sometimes you can't control that, but you can control the media you consume. So remember that everything that you see and you hear all matter. Your brain absorbs everything that you expose it to. So think if you're constantly watching the news full of like negative media, it talks about people lying, stealing, cheating, natural disasters happening, crimes, and your brain accepts this as true about reality, but it's more like a hyper reality than what it actually is. News stations know that negative emotions that are invoked by their channels, so like fear, anger, anxiety, those are more sensational and more people watch, and our brains find it more exciting. But that's not good, because your brain will then internalize that the world is bad and people are out to get you. But there's also good going on in the world, and it's commonly not talked about because our brains don't latch onto it as much, because it doesn't like hold on to the negative emotion as much. And personally, I used to watch a lot of TV shows like Real Housewives, Love Island, and other things, but I realized that they were actually telling my brain that gaining wealth will come with more problems, or maybe that love is difficult to find and not that emotionally deep. And when I started seeing what it was doing to me, I kind of scaled back and I held off watching them for a bit. And honestly, my thoughts started like clearing out. I was less anxious and stressed. I actually started seeing more good in the current relationships I did have. And actually the thought of wealth and building a life like where I would gain more wealth was more clear, and I did not have as much conflict in my brain about it. And you can apply the same concept and realize what kind of media are you engaging in, and is it helping you get and become who you want to be? And this includes music, podcast, TV, video games, literally anything. You have to first think about, what is my goal? Who do I want to be? And then, is what I'm consuming helping that? And I'm not necessarily saying any of these are bad. I'm just saying it's really important to think about what you do want in life and think, is what I'm doing right now helping me move towards that or not? And if you find that it's not, then find what will. For me personally, I wanted to be able to think more freely on my own, to act as my own authority and not take other people's opinions as fact, to work towards my successes, have more fulfilling relationships. And that meant finding podcasts. I found a podcast called the Resilient Mind Podcast, which is basically they take a bunch of speakers and they do like a motivational speech throughout it. But basically, it was like building me up in the morning rather than something that would take me down. So find those things that build you up, find those people that build you up, those books, whatever TV shows, whatever you consume on YouTube. Think, is that helping me become who I want to be? And a lot of this comes down to first even knowing what you want. I think a lot of us know what we don't want in life, and we try to push it away without realizing that we're actually bringing it towards us. You need to realize that you have to decide first what you do want. That's really important. And think about what you do want, and is what I'm doing right now helping me move towards that or further from it? Because there's no really stagnation of I won't move towards it or away. It's usually one or the other. And overall, it's takes some adjustment to make these changes, changing your media, the people around you, but it's totally worth it and eventually becomes habit. And you totally forget you've done it and you've kind of built a life that starts creating a more positive reality and one that reinforces more positive thoughts. And it's totally normal to find yourself on the old path of negative thoughts or consuming that media because you've been doing it for so long. So don't feel bad about it. Just know that that's normal. Just be like, yeah, that makes sense. I've spent so many years on this path, but now I consciously choose a different path and keep going back to it until it becomes more automatic and more habit. And eventually you'll see that there's more good going on in your life and life feels so much more brighter. And you'll start really reaping the benefits not long after, and it'll continue becoming habit. So I hope something in this video resonated. If it did, please leave a comment below. And if you're interested in more videos about how to change your mind and change your reality, please consider subscribing to the channel and you'll get notified when there's another video. Yeah, and thanks for watching.